Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Paige Ryans, and today we are talking about the 24th Annual Garden State Film Festival, New Jersey's premier independent film festival. The Garden State Film Festival will run from March 26th through March 29th, with over 200 films from various countries screening at 9 different venues all throughout Asbury Park in Cranford, New Jersey. You can get your tickets now at gsff.org/tickets, and there will also be tickets available at the door while supplies last. And now to meet today's filmmakers, I am here with the creators of Our Dynasty. We have with us Josias Ortiz, Caleb Sambucci, and Christopher Figueroa Beltre. Welcome. How's it going?
How you doing? Thank you so much for having us today.
Doing good, doing good. Thank you for being here today. And congrats on your acceptance, truly.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're very excited to talk about the film. I know I kind of gave little brief introductions, but if you wanted to go around and just say your role with the film, and then we'll jump into what the film's about.
Sure. Well, my name is Josias Ortiz. I'm the director. Um, I'm also an actor in the film, and I edited. I wrote it. So like
Wore a lot of hats.
we get with the team. My good friend Caleb Sambucci and Christopher Figueroa Belteri were also actors in the film, but they also helped out on the crew with sound and cinematography, so on and so forth. But yeah, I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Caleb Sambucci. I was an actor and cinematographer. Um, I played what's his name? I'm blanking on his name now. Oh my god,
Asani.
Asani. AZ's right hand man friend. And I also shot a couple scenes, which I'm very proud of.
Very cool. Very cool. And Christopher.
Hi, I'm Christopher Figueroa Beltre. Yeah, I'm an actor. I played, just out of my mind, I always remember who your aunt was playing because it was a similar name, Azazel.
No, you're Cyrus. Your character.
I'm Cyrus. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, we've been on so many sets, so many films.
Yeah.
But yeah, I play Cyrus, and I'm an actor, and I've been along the whole way, which is nice.
Awesome. It's okay. You guys were just saving it for the audiences to see it at the film, so that's why you just weren't giving too much away. So, um, very cool. Well, thank you for those introductions, and again, we're excited to have you talk about your film. So, Josias, why don't you kick us off and tell us about Our Dynasty?
Okay, sure. Well, Our Dynasty is a narrative crime drama kind of film, and it follows two brothers, two twin brothers, and one of the main character Nas. He's dealing with the recklessness of his other twin brother. His name is Az, and they pretty much just go through the motions of they're in an illegal bodyguarding crime syndicate, and the evil twin brother he's kind of a hothead, and he's really not making things super easy for this syndicate, and causing a lot of problems internally with the syndicate that they run.
Interesting. Very interesting. And what was your inspiration for creating this film?
This film was partially inspired by true events that happened to my dad's family. Not as exaggerated, or as definitely not as exaggerated in the real life story. It's my dad. He's an older brother to my uncle, who is his younger brother, and we don't run a crime syndicate, nothing like that. But yeah, so in the real life story, it's a little bit different. And so my dad had told me that story. I think it was in either the summer of my freshman year, like when I was getting ready to go to sophomore year, because I've had the concept in the tuck for a little bit. But yeah, I think he told me that story like when I was getting ready to go to sophomore year, and I had it, and I always wanted to make it into something a little bit bigger. So I took the story, exaggerated it a little bit, made it made it a little more, and but also like a bunch of other films inspired me. To note a couple, Paid in Full was a big inspiration, especially for writing the character of Az. Also hip hop just in general. The two characters' names are Nas and Az. Those are rappers as well, so those names also were a big thing. And also Juice, those kinds of crime drama films really did inspire this film as well.
Very cool. Very cool. And thank you for sharing that. And what was that filming process like for you? And this is kind of a question where each of you can provide your perspective. So I don't want to ask too many questions at once, but I guess for Josias, I'm curious what this process was like for you as both director, actor, editor. And I have a question of like, how did you actually, you know what? I'm gonna let you answer that first because I want you to share as much as you want the audience to know before the festival.
Sure. Well, it was a little bit difficult to balance, I will say. Playing a double role was, you know, because a lot of the time what we would have to do is we have to set up the shot. I have to be in one of the costumes, do the whole scene, maybe do it a couple times, and then change, not move the shot, and then do that same thing, looking at nothing. Like, you know what I mean? I had to kind of like act like, and right, exactly. And but I also had to make sure that like everybody else on set was all good and like, sound, everything like that at once. So at times it was a little bit difficult to balance, but for the most part, this was my first film that I did that I like really honed in on like the scheduling and like the pre-production stuff. Like I spent a lot of time making sure that like everything was really good, well set in pre-production before I even went and shot anything, because that was something that I think was lacking in my other productions, where I wasn't like doing very well in the pre-production stuff, and like certain things were falling through. There were scheduling conflicts, so on and so forth. So I really wanted to hone in on that. That way we didn't have to kind of run into any problems like that. And so, but there were some days where like it really went pretty smooth. It actually ended up, we actually ended up wrapping shooting a little earlier than expected. But yeah, it was, I don't want to speak for my peers, but for me, like on my sets, this was probably like the most fun I've ever had on my set that with all of my peers. Just there was a lot of humor. We got to bounce jokes off of each other. We were all very helpful. My peers were extremely helpful with me, bringing the visions to life, the shots to life, all of that, even providing their own insight. I think you should do this, or I think maybe we should change the shot up like that. And they were just like super, super helpful with that. So I'm super grateful for them as well. They definitely did help make the process go even smoother. So I can't thank them enough.
Very cool. Yeah, it helps having those people to lean on that are able to just give those creative insights, because
Definitely.
it just contributes to a great final project like this. And to kind of throw it over to you, Caleb, what was it like? I feel like the cinematography was just, I know you said you did cinematography for a few scenes. Really, it's very crisp, like just the aesthetic, everything was great. What was that process like for you as both the cinematographer and actor?
I want to say the cinematography, as much as I want to claim it, a lot of it was really Josias. He was really, really efficient when it came to his directing. So being behind the camera was far more easy than expected, because he had such a clear vision, and we just kind of jived really, really well when it came to shooting everything. And as for the acting, I've never had more fun acting on the set before. It was as fun as they make it seem, and behind the scenes footage and everything like that. It was truly just an awesome experience.
Very cool. Very cool. And Christopher, for you, what was it like kind of stepping into that actor role?
Well, it really goes back to when he presents this concept. It's just you gotta be there when he presents these concepts. They're just like, we're always like surprised. It's like, wow. First off, this is gonna be big, as well as, dude, how did you come to think of this? But acting was really fun. Josias always has the sets where he's one of the directors like Caleb, where their sets are really big. So it tends to ask for a lot of people for acting and crew, and it brings us together, and it turns out to be really fun. And especially this film was really fun, even though like half my scenes I'm getting like beat up in. That's nice. But no, it was all around fun, and Josias makes he makes acting easy. He has a direction for his characters, and he explains the script really well, and is all around just really nice. Great job for Josias.
Really
Thanks, Joe.
great. Yeah, that's awesome. Listen, I know we said at the beginning, you mentioned Josias, that you really definitely wore a lot of hats and responsibilities. And I think along with just like, selecting these actors to play in this film, there's really a lot of creativeness that goes into the film. And so you definitely, I think you did a great job,
Thank you.
director, actor, editor. And kind of leading into my next question, the editing is great. It's really, really great. Really, really great. Truly, I really enjoyed the editing. So what was that process like for you? And how did you, like, what was your vision? I'm sure the vision was the final product, but like, what was the initial vision that you had that went into the editing process?
Well, thank you very much again for thank you very much. But the initially, like when, like for example, the opening scene, that was I think the second day of shooting. Like initially, that was looking very different when we were shooting it versus when I had edited it. Because then I realized, there were certain things. So the way I edited was a little bit different. But for the most part, everything in the script was pretty much the same way that it was in the film. There were a couple things that were a little bit different, like where I was sitting down editing and I realized like, maybe I should pivot this way with the story so that way the audience can understand it a little bit more. Or I should show this flashback here, for example. But yeah, editing was one of the most difficult parts, but also it was very fun when I finally got to see it all put together. Especially like I had a lot of fun making the film editing wise, and also like the promotional music video that I did for it before it came out. That was also a lot of fun to do. And also like they were also in that music video as well. And that I think we had a lot of fun like filming that also. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun editing it as well, because I got to see like make sure that everything was like, the timing was right with the way I like when I would say a line versus when the other me would say a line. So it was fun. It was difficult though. Like it was pretty difficult, like getting the timing and everything, but I still had a lot of fun editing as well. And like, having them see the process and everything was also really cool, getting their insight and everything.
Definitely, definitely. And I feel like, with editing, it's very particular. So especially when you have a vision for editing, I know it's, you want that vision to be like that vision that you see in your mind.
That's right.
But there is one like editing sequence in there that I really thought was just like really well done, and I think audiences will really enjoy it too. I believe it might be toward the end, but again, just did a really great job, really sharp, really clean cut.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. Yeah, no problem. And Christopher and Caleb, my question for you both is, were there any like as part of like the acting process, was there any scenes that were like difficult for you to film, difficult to step into?
So there's this one shot where I have to react to something that's said in another room, and I'm in the bathroom, and it's such a small, tiny bathroom that I'm literally like leaning against the wall while leaning over the sink at the same time. It's like it was just such a weird location, and I couldn't fully like take it seriously, and like it's a serious bit of dialogue, and I'm supposed to act like, oh my god, I can't believe that was just said, and like we had to have done like 4 or 5 different takes of it because I just couldn't like keep a straight face and like really give a decent performance, but we ended up getting a shot that was serviceable. So
My little cousin was on set as well, so like that wasn't helping. He would come through the bathroom and like say hello and like but it was fun though. It was fun.
Cool. That's cool. You learn how to kind of work through that. Just yeah. I know. Yeah. What about you, Christopher?
It's 2 times. It's the opening scene, right? Because I got there and it's like, well, first thing I'm doing is getting chased and beaten up. And before that, I was just on crew. It's hot outside, and I'm doing anything, and I wasn't really prepping myself. So the first few takes are just like horrendous. They look so like stupid. Like I'm like, oh my god! Like stop beating me up. It's so dumb. And then Cyrus's dad is there in the background, and we've gotten like really close to this family. And it's a thing where we like he teases us and he picks on us. So he's not helping in the background. Like, I'm over here I'm trying to get into character, and he has his comments, and then he does it again in the other scene where I'm getting beat up again. He's doing comments on me. And, like every little thing I do, if I mess up, it's over. But yeah, it was so much fun though.
That's cool. It sounds like a fun set to be on. I mean, are there any bloopers reels coming out or anything like that?
I would love to make a little thing of the bloopers with the amount, like Chris was saying with my dad, because he was the one behind the camera for like 50% of the film. So yeah, with my dad, like the little comments, and like I said, we were like joking around on set every now and then, and it was really like for my dad a lot. Like he would say something, or like I would do something, he'd be like, "What?" And like, you know, just like we would joke about it, or like we would say something, we would get off topic. We ended up talking about like John Wick or something, and like on one of the days of the shoot, and it was just really funny that when that was happening. So honestly, yeah, I would like to go back in the footage and just look and like grab some of the funniest things and create a little blooper reel. That'd be hilarious.
That's cool. Yeah, listen, well, I think after they watch this interview, they'll definitely be interested in that. But nonetheless, they'll also be interested in your film. Again, I think each of you did a really great job with your contributions to this film. You should be very proud. And my last question for you all is, will you be joining us in person for the festival this year?
Yes, of course.
Awesome. Yeses all around. Christopher, Caleb. Okay, awesome. Cool. Very cool. Well, we look forward to seeing you in person. Again, you can check out our DieNasty. We'll be screening at the festival on Sunday, March 29th at the Berkeley Continental, Block BC29, between 9:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. And once again, for everyone watching, we will see you at the Garden State Film Festival, our 24th year, 200 films, various countries, 9 different venues throughout Asbury Park and Cranford, New Jersey. You can get your tickets for films like this one at gsff.org/tickets. And again, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. Absolutely. See you then. All right.
See you. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.